Good evening, fellow Floridians and friends from around the country and around the world who love the state of Florida as much as I do. My name is Mike Levine, coming to you from Glass House Media in downtown Mount Dora, and I just want to give you a heartfelt thank you for checking out this video. We're trying to get our country on the right track, and a big piece of that is making sure that the state of Florida is on the right track. So right now, I just want to talk about election integrity and election reform for a moment, because we're in our 2025 legislative session here in Florida right now, and I know that there are either 6 or 7 um, bills filed in the Florida House and another 6 or 7 bills filed in the Florida Senate right now, all addressing election integrity and election reform. And it's really interesting because making sure that the elections are properly run and creating trust in the election system is really very simple. And I guess I should just go ahead and answer the question, how do you do that? And the answer is, like President Trump has called for, the answer is that only citizens can vote in the elections, and the citizenship has to be documented on state issued IDs. So if you have a driver's license or a state issued ID, the document has to be marked that you're either a citizen. Today they're using the gold star, or a non-citizen, and that can be done in a lot of different ways. A lot of people say put an NC on it for non-citizen. You could put the flag of the country of origin, or a million different ways to do that. But it just is very simple. Either you're a citizen of the United States and it's marked on your state issued ID, or you're not, and that's demarcated some other way. But only citizens can vote, and it has to be very obvious who's a citizen and who's not. And it's really easy for the state of Florida and every other state in the union to solve that problem. That's just not a mystery at all. I don't think there's anybody out there that says that it's difficult to determine who's a citizen and who's not. Either you prove that you're a citizen or you don't get to vote, and that's just the way it is. And the next step would be, of course, to vote on paper ballots only, no machines, because machines and computers are just a big question mark. You never know whether you're being hacked or not. And there's nobody out there who can promise that machines aren't being hacked. And we've had the whole conversation about whether voting machines are on the internet or not. And, honestly, just a simple question: are the voting machines on the internet or not? And, the supervisors of elections come out, and the Secretary of State comes out and says, oh, the machines aren't on the internet, but then all of a sudden we find out that they are. So why is that such a difficult question to answer? But it does exemplify the fact that people are not being honest about this. People are disingenuous about their intent and their desire, their will to actually solve the problem and create um, create certainty that all of the elections are properly orchestrated and are safe. And it all comes back to the paper ballot. So in the state of Florida, let's just say, if the supervisors of elections want to prove that their voting machines are counting the ballots properly, all we have to do is count the paper ballots. But nobody in Florida seems to be willing to do that. So why would 67 supervisors of elections in the state of Florida refuse to do something simple like just audit the paper ballots? And there's a lot more to the story, but it's just really a very simple thing. And I just want to say to the people who are watching this video that there's a really amazing team of people here in Lake County, and there's other teams of people all over the state of Florida and all over the country who have worked really hard to determine that the elections, in fact, are not properly run. And in Lake County, Florida, we're particularly blessed because we have a team that actually demonstrated how hand counting ballots, paper ballots, in the precincts is very doable, and the results of the election will be known in a very short time after the voting ends. Let's just say 1 or 2 hours after the voting ends, everybody will know what the results of the election is, and that the ballots were hand counted. And if there's a discrepancy or a question about whether the reported results are accurate, you just go to the batch that's in question and recount that batch of ballots. It's really very simple. So my point to you is that we have, total in the Senate and the House. Of course, you have to have a companion bill. You have to have, any legislation has to pass both the House and the Senate. So let's just say you have 14 bills, 6 or 7 in the House, 6 or 7 in the Senate, that need to get through the legislature before they can go to the floor and be voted on. They have to come out of committee before they go onto the floor and be voted on. And these are big bills, 183 pages long, 116 pages long, to just simply say that only citizens can vote. We're going to vote on paper ballots. The paper ballots are going to be hand counted in the precincts, and that's it. So my point is that we have these really complicated legislative proposals that just overstate the complexity of the task that we're facing. So I know that the people in the Florida legislature and the governor and the Secretary of State here in Florida are all smart people. So if we really wanted to solve a very simple problem that any of our children could solve, we would just solve it by the formula that I gave you. So I just want to say to you that election integrity and election reform is a very simple problem to solve, and because it's not solved actually proves the point that the decision makers in our legislature really don't want to solve the problem. So thank you very much for listening to what I have to say. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to be back to you real quick here with another topic. Thank you very much. Mike Levine, broadcasting from Glass House Media in downtown Mount Dora. Bye-bye now.